Shout out to Kop-Ish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
All the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that guy. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys.
Kop-Ish.
Yes, people, what is going on? We are back. It is Monday. Sorry, we're a bit late, people. But you know what time is it? It's the Monday night show. It's your boy, Matt. It's Drift. Unfortunately, Cal can't make it today, but we are still going to chop it up. You know what time it is? Pause. But yes, people, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and smash that like button. It's Team Kopish. You know what time it is. Drift, what you said on this glorious Monday, bro? What you saying? Kind of glorious, isn't it? You know when your team gets 3 points, you feel good, innit?
Oh yeah. I was gonna say I don't know about glorious, but you know, it felt good to get the win. It really did. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know,
so
the reason
and
why I say
the weekend,
go.
Spend the weekend looking at a couple people who feel like they're in the mud. I mean,
bro.
Here's the irony before we get into this. Yeah, we got everyone who's in the chat as well. Again, apologies for the lateness. Smash that like button as always, people. But bro, here's the irony, and I don't want to talk too soon, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm just basing it on what we've already seen. So 6 games into the season, including it's 7 including Europe, right? That
7 including Europe. Oh, have we played in one of the cups yet? I'm trying to think.
No. I think Spurs. Are one of the only.
The first one is Wednesday, isn't it?
Spurs and Chelsea played in a cup, and then So I think so league. The League Cup round 4 we jump in, I think, which is the game we've got coming up against Leicester. Everybody watch out for the preview for that coming as well. But based on the games that we've seen so far, I have actually seen a kind of a pattern emerging amongst what people thought would be and what actually is. And here's the 2 key factors that I will say that are giving me joke. Everybody says Tottenham will always just be Tottenham and they ain't gonna do shit. And when they get up to the Arsenal game, which is their first real test, they're gonna get moved to differently. Everybody also told me Liverpool are done with dead food.
Oh yeah,
it's an end of an era. Klopp can't do it anymore. There. All the other, you know the rest. Yeah. And on the flip side, all I heard was Arsenal's the shit. They're gonna win the league. They're the best title challengers for Man City. They're a new team. They're improving all the time. Arteta's the new Pep. And I also heard that Chelsea are about that life. I got caught up in the hype of thinking that they were actually going to be a good team. And again, I'm just going off of the first 6 games. They might become a good team.
It's early doors, I hear what you're saying. I
got caught up in the hype of what Chelsea could be, all those players. And granted, there's a few things that have happened that have made me think differently, like Nkunku's injury. I don't think I would have felt the way I did if I'd already known that was going to happen, etc., etc. But just looking at it on a face value, isn't it funny, bro, how Chelsea and Arsenal went into the season with so much positivity and promise behind what they could be, and Liverpool and Spurs were being shit on by everybody.
What's going on, my brother?
We were being shit on by everybody. And then 6 games in, which is a decent barometer for what you are. It's a decent barometer. Liverpool and Tottenham are looking real nice. And Arsenal feel a little bit underwhelmed. And Chelsea are in the mud, bro.
Oh, they're in the mud. All right.
They are in the mud. And I think you'll see. I deliberately didn't speak about Man United. Because I don't need to. I don't really know what they were supposed to be or what they are. I don't know. What I do know is I was also told Man United are going to finish above Liverpool, but I don't know if people were drunk or high when they were saying that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, So it's just funny, isn't it? How like a couple of scenarios that was said at the beginning, and again we're only 6 games in, but it's literally the opposite of what everybody said was going to happen. So it's just quite funny, Bob. It's quite. I'm interested and I'm entertained and I'm intrigued at how this season seems to be unfolding slowly. You know.
Yeah, do you know what? Going off what you said, yeah, the one that probably has surprised me the most, or shall I say the two, are Chelsea being absolutely shocking and Spurs being better than what I thought they were ever going to be. And like you
Mm.
said, you kept on pointing out for everything that you were saying, it was only 6 games. That's true. But also, we have a right to dissect what's happened in those 6 games and where we think clubs are. Are they going to improve X, Y, and Z? One thing I think we can see so far is that Chelsea, even if they get all their players back, because they've got a lot of injuries, they do have a lot. They got a lot of injuries.
Yeah,
But
they do.
you've got to mesh in a lot of players that you're expecting to bring back. So that's not going to happen overnight. And you've got players there that are coming for a big price tag who are finding it even harder because the team isn't playing well. And he's looked at the savior because he's their most expensive signing. And this is where it becomes techie. Because imagine this now. Your whole ethos is you got Nkunku, Fofana's there, Reece J, everybody's there. And Caicedo, even though he cost 115 mil or whatever it is, he's now seen as that savior, bro. You can't spend 150 mil and then the player doesn't shine. Even if the team's not shine, you think, oh, the player must be able to do something, must be able to help them out. But he's not even doing that. And again, that's pressure. Not all his fault, but mainly because of his team is nowhere near the standards it needs to be. So Chelsea got issues. Spurs, I'll be real with you, bro. Arguably the surprise team of the season so far, because to go away to the Emirates and get a draw is not easy, especially when you consider normally when they go to the Emirates, they normally lose. We have to keep it. But with Kane, without Kane, they normally lose. So they actually done well to get a point there.
Mm.
Arsenal, I will say personally, I think they're going to get better and I think they're going to be second or third, in my opinion. I think they're too good to not be second or third when I look at the players that they have, even though I think it's obviously dropped points. Man City is still going to keep doing what they're doing. But for us, which we'll get into now, in fact, let's start the topic now because it's kind of a great segue. We're going to talk about us in all of this, yeah? And the question I have to you, Drift, yeah? After that win against West Ham, don't get me wrong, it wasn't all our own way. West Ham, obviously, they scored and they caused problems. But after that win, when you consider the expectations of us this season and how people were talking about us, bro, would you arguably say right now, all things considered, yeah, it might be 6 games, but are we in a title challenge? Are we giving enough praise for this team that didn't have no shot at doing anything, so to speak, against Man City, but now look like we could be the sole challenger?
Well, I remember when I was being told. I was being a bit too positive and a bit too optimistic about the season because we didn't get our defensive reinforcements and people were extremely unhappy with Endo. But I gave my reasons for why I felt like I did at the time, and I'm not going to go into it again. It's long, but I just had a good feeling. And again, we're only 6 games into the campaign, so it could go left at any moment. But the good feeling I had does seem to be transcending into the atmosphere a bit, because what I did, bro, was I looked at the team and I tried to be as attached to last season as possible. Because I don't know about you, bro, but I feel like a lot of Liverpool fans have been struggling to detach last season from this season. And I think a lot of people are traumatized by what we went through last season. And I think it was skewing their judgment a lot. And I was always a firm believer that you can have a bad season and it doesn't mean that you're a bad player or that you're done. But a lot of people were very quick. Flacco was an example. He's no longer with us anymore, so we'll never know. But I did say, and you know that I'm not chatting rubbish when I said this. I said, what if it was just a bad year? Let's give him a chance to prove himself next season because a player of his quality deserves to be given another opportunity, not to just be written off. We didn't get to in the end because he's gone now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But some of the players who I was standing by, which was Joey and Matip, I don't know about you, bro, but I truly believe they have been two of our best performers this season. And they were the two that were under the most scrutiny and everybody said get rid of. And everybody was like, really worried about. Now, again, we are only 6 games in, but without Virgil, obviously getting his suspension, and without Trent, who's now missed a few games with the injury, I don't think we could have asked any more than we've got out of Joey and Matip in the way they both stepped up and filled in. And Konza massively is involved in that, but he didn't have any negativity against him as a player coming in. But everybody said he wasn't ready, though. And I remember I was getting told I was being a bit too optimistic, saying, but what if he's ready at 20? Maybe Klopp sees something that like we can't see. And he's like, I don't need to buy anyone. I've got this kid. And again, Matt, the couple of games that Konza's played in, I think he's been really good. And I think he's actually proved he may be on his way to becoming exactly what Colwell did when he went on his loan at Brighton. I don't see much difference between the two players. And I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm being genuinely honest. If I'm talking about the ability of the player, from the small sample I've seen of Konza, I see a player very similar to what Colwell was before he went on that loan to Brighton and developed into the player we knew that he becomes. So I'm just happy that some of these players that everybody said weren't going to be good enough and were done and whatever, so far have proved that maybe last year was just last year, innit? Do you get what I mean?
Of course.
Maybe the lack of protection they got from the midfield was another big reason why they weren't looking as good, because everybody knows no matter how good you are as a defense, if you get no protection, then you are going to start looking a bit dodgy regardless. You know what I mean? So
definitely,
I'm just saying, bro, I've been happy with what the team's been doing so far, and I'm happy with the new recruits, and I'm happy that the people that everybody was really going in on are not letting us down at the moment.
Yeah, and I think for me that's key because, like you said, listen, last season everyone wants to forget about it. Everyone does. No one wants to remember what happened last season, and I think that's carried on into this season in terms of that PTSD, in terms of like, I just know that something's going to happen and it's going to derail us. No one's saying things can't happen. Injuries can happen, suspensions, loss of form, many things can happen. And I understand the people in the chat that's even saying things like it's too early and red-te-te. I fully hear you. What we're talking about is 6 games so far. Where do you see your team? How do you think things will pan out? Now, I do think, whether it's by luck or by design, we are actually ahead of schedule. When you genuinely think about, and as someone said it in the chat, the players that we would say are missing. And when I say missing, some people would still say, we wish we got a world-class DM or something. Like, say you could pick your perfect player or something. Say you want a world-class DM and maybe another centre-back. But then I also don't want to discredit the players that are here right now. I know Endo hasn't really played that much, but McAllister's gone into that DM role. And I know McAllister's not a DM, but he's doing the job very well. And yes, that could be undoing at some point, but he's doing a good job. And maybe that's giving Endo time to put up to speed. The centre-back issue, I think a lot of us probably sat here and thought, normally 5-6 games in, Joe Gomez or Matip's already got a problem. There'll be some type of, we'll go on Twitter. Someone will say the day before, they're not, there's a thigh injury or something, and we're already like worried. That hasn't happened so far. Both players played tremendously well on the weekend. And not only that, like, I think the team as a whole have this belief about them. Now, obviously, it's not good when you concede, and we've conceded in quite a few games. Listen, against Wolves, even against West Ham, and you don't really want to always do that. However, one thing this team has shown, what it hasn't shown from last season, is that belief. Now, I don't know where we're going to finish. I genuinely don't know. But this team has belief. Like, I'm looking at certain players and they got stature. Like, Szoboszlai has stature. Salah's taken on an even more important role, but not necessarily just going for goals now. Salah's looking to assist. Núñez looks like he's got confidence, more so than ever, because Núñez missed a great chance on the weekend, but then scored on another occasion. Do you know what I'm trying to say? When he got the second chance, is that it's certain things that weren't happening last season. I get it. Virgil van Dijk got the red card, but I'd arguably say he's been good, Van Dijk. And then you look at Matip, you look at Gomez.
Van Dijk's been brilliant, bro.
I think he's been
Oh
very
yeah,
good.
that's another player that everybody said was done. Van Dijk.
But I'm just trying to say, like, you love to see. And then you got Gravenberch, who Gravenberch has just been like sprinkles, fam. You know the sprinkle thing, you know what I'm saying? We're sprinkling. There's a bit of sprinkles for Gravenberch. Wait until he's ready. Like Klopp has said, this ain't year 8 or year 9, fam. This is year 1. We go again. This is a reborn Liverpool. Now, do I think we're going to win the league? I don't think we will, but I think we're going to give one heck of a challenge that some people think that we wasn't probably going to be able to achieve even that. And I could be even wrong. Oh yeah, here's another person I'll say. And I have to say it because I've been his biggest critic. Curtis Jones. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Curtis Jones has been world class. Oh my gosh, like he has to play. But Curtis Jones has shown he belongs in his Liverpool team and he belongs to be in the rotation. I was one of the first people that was like, this brother's not good enough to be in the squad, you know. He's not good enough to be in the squad. Harvey Elliott's another one. There's certain players that are like, they've gone up a level and now they look like they belong. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because you could arguably say, let's say Thiago was fit, which I don't know when he's going to be fit, by the way, but say Thiago was fit, maybe Thiago takes Jones's spot. However, Jones is doing his thing. Like, you can't complain. The only thing I would love to see, and this is me being so picky, whether it's Endo or we got another DM in the summer, I want to see McAllister play alongside Szoboszlai. I want to see that pass to Nunes drift for the goal. You know, McAllister will be doing a lot more of that if he was just a little, because he's got to be very calculated when he's playing the 6. He's got to think, I've got to retain the ball. I can't be out of position. Like there's times, I don't know if you notice it, Drift. He'll start a move and he starts to go forward, and then I'm thinking, where's he gonna go? Then he actually thinks, no, I'm gonna drop back, and he drops back. He wants to get involved in more of the game. But I'm liking what I'm seeing, fam.
I think the space that he gets playing in the number 6 is brilliant, though. So I fully agree we need a better number 6 than McAllister defensively, and then McAllister can do his thing offensively 100%.
Bro, if he gets unleashed.
But what you got to remember though, bro, is he is still mad creative from that deep role, and I think maybe he gets more time in the number 6 than he would in the 8. That maybe he enjoys. Like that pass that he played for Nunes, he wouldn't get that time as an 8. He got that time because he's the 6. Do you get what I mean? So maybe it's a little bit like Trent when he's at right back. We know in midfield Trent is deadly, but he gets more time at right back. And like, I'm just thinking, is there maybe a part of Klopp that's starting to like him having that little bit of extra time, and he's willing to sacrifice a little bit less defensively to gain more offensively? So there's part of me that's starting to think, is it by design, not by accident, that Klopp's actually playing McAllister in this role? Because remember, even though he had Caicedo next to him, he did play in a pivot for Brighton. It wasn't like he was a marauding box-to-box man, like for a lot of the time.
He was a little bit more unleashed last season, though. I would say a little bit more unleashed. So you're right, they were doing the pivot thing, but I'd arguably say there were quite a few times I saw McAllister going forward. Like he was unleashed a little bit more. But you know, but you know, I will say this though. Something that I never saw at Leipzig, but saw at Hungary. When I've seen Szoboszlai, I don't know if you've noticed it, but Szoboszlai wants the ball at all, like no matter who's next to him. Someone could be right, he still wants it. He's now starting to become a controller. At Leipzig, he was never really a controller, because when Leipzig played the 4-2-2, he was like a 10 in it. He was like one of the 10s behind the striker. And a lot of his work was done off the ball. Obviously, be good on the ball, but off the ball. What I'm seeing is now because at Hungary, even though he kind of still plays as a 10 at times, he still would control games from where he is. He would drop back and receive the ball. And one thing I'm loving about Szoboszlai is he's got that stature that says, I'm going to run the game. Like, I don't know if you notice it, but there's times he actually comes deep to get the ball, and McAllister actually goes forward, you know. Szoboszlai wants to be the guy. And that's another thing. Like, we got players now that like they it's not just Salah and Van Dijk, if that makes sense. Obviously, before we had like Mane, but like he's another one that Szoboszlai, I feel like we can already add to the list. Like he's got that stature, bro. Man wants to win at all costs.
Let me tell you something. Other than defense, which obviously it would be an absolute travesty if for some reason Szoboszlai was playing in defense. I'd be like, yo, what the hell is going on? But other than defense, do you know Szoboszlai has played every single position for Liverpool apart from centre forward?
Yeah, he has so far. He has, yeah.
That shows
During the
just
game,
how versatile he is, bro. Like he's actually played 6, he's played 8, he's played 10, he's played left wing, and he's played right wing, bro.
Yeah, still, yes.
Like he's actually so versatile, and that's why I said to you, I'm not trying to sound like I'm being, caught up in the hype or whatever. But when people say, "Oh, Bellingham over Szoboszlai," I'm like, I'm not going to have the conversation about who I think's the more talented footballer. But what I know is Bellingham doesn't have the flexibility and the versatility that Szoboszlai has. That I actually prefer Szoboszlai for that reason. Do you know what I mean? Because Szoboszlai is the type of guy who, if you go down to 10 men, you can put on the right wing, you can drop into a pivot, you can put left wing, you can do all these different things with him that I don't think you can do with Bellingham. I think Bellingham is unbelievably essential, but I don't think I'd put Bellingham wide. I could imagine Bellingham played left wing or right wing and being able to influence the game,
bro.
Whereas Szoboszlai can influence the game from all angles. Do you know what I mean? So
but it's different for Bellingham. Bellingham is all right. So let me say this now. Here's what I'm gonna say, and this is why I don't feel like we should always compare. But I know what you mean because you're comparing because you're looking at we could have got this guy now. Oh, there's a bit of feedback right now. 1 2 1 2. Getting a bit of feedback. Is it gone? 1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, it's gone. All right, cool. What I was gonna say is this, yeah. In terms of like what Bellingham can do, yeah. Bellingham has stepped into Real Madrid where they've lost Karim Benzema, and now he's become almost the main guy. This guy has scored a match winner in about 4 or 5 occasions. This guy has taken on the mantle. Remember, he's a CM, and now he's playing 10/second striker. The impact that he's had at Real Madrid is actually one of the only reasons why Carlo Ancelotti even went to the diamond. Not obviously they haven't got like a true striker. They got Joselu, you don't really count him, but the Bellingham has been so good that they're allowed to play the diamond, fam. Bellingham has been absolutely crazy for Real Madrid, but so is Szoboszlai. I just don't think you could compare because I'm looking at Szoboszlai thinking he's controlling games, but then I look at Bellingham and think he's affecting games. Not controlling it, but like he's been decisive. Like he's been the match winner, fam. But there's been times when Vinny Jr. been injured, and he's been the match winner. Not Rodrigo, not no one. Like you get what I'm saying. He's been the guy. So
no, I hear that.
I don't think you can. What it is, I don't think you can compare. I just think when you look at Liverpool, it's more about who do you think fits better with the players that we have. Well, that's what it probably boils down to.
Again,
because both of them have been levels this season.
The thing is, I didn't even say it to like fully go into the comparison. It's just because people talk a lot about Bellingham because he's the one we missed out on, innit? And I actually think that Szoboszlai in the end is actually going to end up being a better player for us. So in hindsight, we're going to look back on it, and we're not necessarily going to go, "Oh, Bellingham would have been rubbish at Liverpool." I think he would have been great at Liverpool. But I think we're going to look back at it and go, you know what, that decision to do that instead of that, I think it actually worked out for the best. That's how I think we're going to look back on it, rather than it being a judgment on Bellingham. Bellingham's a top player, there's no doubt. I mean, people are going to say I'm being a bit like over the top when I say this, but I do believe La Liga's quality is kind of poor at the moment.
Drift, don't do that, bro.
But no. So I'm still gonna need to see Bellingham. I'm still gonna need to see Bellingham doing it for a little bit longer, and maybe against some better opposition.
He's been doing it in the Champions League for Dortmund, though. Couple seats. Like,
I'm talking about since he's moved to Real Madrid. I'm talking about.
But then,
because again, I believe that the Premier League's competitiveness and how hard it is to play in the Premier League compared to a lot of these other leagues now. Plus, on top of that, I do believe Real Madrid are, apart from Barcelona and Atletico to a degree, are just superiorly dominant to everybody else in that league. That like it is a little bit harder to judge how well you're playing when you're playing for the best team. If Bellingham had gone to one of the smaller teams and was doing it, then it would just be 30. But I'm still going to need to see him do it for a little bit longer
I think
before
we're
I
going to get
realise, well, Real
some
Madrid are just the
for
best team in
Madrid.
that
No,
league.
I hear you, but remember, there's no Benzema. Benzema was, bro. If you look at the way how Real Madrid played, everything went through Benzema. Now everything's going through Bellingham. He's basically doing the Benzema role, and he's not even a striker. Remember, imagine this. It's like he's doing the 10 thing. Remember, Bellingham's solely been a CM, always been a CM, yeah. And now he's doing the 10 thing because he's that good. He's that versatile. Yes, he's not as athletic as Szoboszlai, so he probably can't do right wing and left wing. However, bro, his decisiveness in big games for Real Madrid when the teams look kind of flat, bro, he's been absolutely instrumental. That's why I say personally, even if they swapped, I think, but I'm not trying to say, I think Bellingham can do what Szoboszlai can do, but in a different way, innit? Whether that's the winning goals or not, I don't know. But Bellingham can do it, bro. Bellingham's got that it factor, like Szoboszlai. And I think Szoboszlai could go to Real Madrid and be an absolute menace, bro. That's why I don't think it's not. We can't do the comparison thing yet. I think it has to be a bit longer and see how the effectiveness works. But what each player is doing for each of their teams is absolutely sensational. Because I'll be honest, when Bellingham went to Real Madrid, I just thought he'll be very, very good for him. I didn't think he'll be decisive like this. Brother, he might even be the top goal scorer for Real Madrid, you know. I'm not joking. That's how mad Bellingham's moving. He's moving crazy.
But again, this is what I'm saying. I think, like I said, in the big games and whatnot, if I still see him doing it, then I'd be like, okay, cool. At the moment, there's just always going to be that little part of me that's like, but Real Madrid are head and shoulders above everyone in that league. And like, if you're playing for Real Madrid, it's kind of what you're meant to do. But again, I'm not trying to take nothing away from him. And obviously, I don't want to keep going on about it. He is a great player. I just think Szoboszlai will end up being a better signing for us.
No, fair enough. And yeah, listen, it's not wrong to say that. It's just like, I know it's easy to do because I want to do it at times. I'm like, nah, but like, did we get the better player in the end? Like, because Szoboszlai has just been crazy. But I just think that speaks volumes of a player that we've signed. And like, normally everyone takes that little bit of time to kind of gel and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, get used to their surroundings, X, Y, and Z. Szoboszlai looks like he's played for Liverpool for the last 3 years. Like, that's how what he looks like. He doesn't look not out of place. He just looks like he's always been our 8 that's been controlling games and being all action and ready to tear that. Like, I thought we would have had with another player. Unfortunately, I don't know how I'm going to bring him up, but Naby Keita, I thought when we signed him, I thought Naby could be that guy, that driving force, help us win games, could be a game changer. And it wasn't to be, fam. I could hold my hands up in it and be like, right, you know what? All right, cool. But the injuries just finished, man. But we won't get into all of that because you got to give Szoboszlai his flowers. And he has just been immense for us, brother. I can't lie. He's been immense.
No, it's true. And again, when it comes to Szoboszlai, I think one of the cool things about him is you just look at how he's playing and you know it's not really about GA. He's one of those players that the GA is not going to be what he's judged upon. It will be the influence he's having on the game outside of all of that. And I think that's testament to how good a player is, because a lot of time people only pay attention to the GA. If you don't have a great GA, but everybody is still fully understanding just how great you are, then you really are doing something well. Do you get what I mean? Because again, not to go back onto Bellingham, but a lot of people, when I have the conversation, they do that. Oh, do you know how many goals he's scoring in a row? I'm like, no, cool, why he's getting the goals. But like, because I haven't been watching him as closely as I've been watching Szoboszlai, it's like the question I would want to ask is, all right, but taking away those big moments he's having in certain games, he's getting a goal, is he still being influential in the game? Because that's what I'm impressed with Szoboszlai, how influential he's being in the game. I'm seeing us down to 10 men, and it don't feel like we're down to 10 men. Because this guy's doing the job of 2-3 people.
No, it's actually like, mad. Yeah, it's mad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man's drawing on his inner Kante or something. Remember when Kante used to make it feel like they had more players than they do, bruv? It's like, bro, Szoboszlai is on a mad thing, bruv. Like,
and the thing is,
I don't know how many kilometers he's covered since he come Liverpool, but it must be way more than everyone else.
Top 5. I think he's in the top 5 for the Prem. I think he's top 5. He
It
probably
must,
should be
must
number
be
1.
more than all the other
He's gone
Liverpool
down to
players.
10 men twice, innit? Twice, innit?
Like, yeah, but it's crazy, bro. He's like 88th minute and he's still sprinting. I'm like,
do you know what's so crazy about Szoboszlai? Someone actually just said it. It came into my brain at the same time. Where is it? The bigger David said we need to extend Szoboszlai's contract already. Nah, do you want to know something? Big man thing. Don't be surprised at the end of the season if we actually signs a 1-year extension, just but obviously higher terms. Because I'm gonna be real. Liverpool, I don't think expected him to be like this. I think we expected him to be good, but he's been amazing. He's been a game changer. He's actually been but you know one thing I will say, and this is where we have to be fair. You see how he was talking about Bellingham? I actually want to see now what Szoboszlai does in the big games now. So see when Szoboszlai comes up against Man City, Arsenal, even Saturday. I'm a class Saturday as a big game because Spurs have started very well and they deserve to be put in that category after 6 games. You look like you could do something. So in these big games, I want to see if you can affect the game. Can you still run the game? I want to see that from him. And I think if he's able to do that in the big games, because we've all seen it before, innit? Like under Klopp, we've seen it in a different way. We've seen it as a trio where we've seen Fabinho, Henderson, and Wijnaldum control a game, but they've controlled the game without the ball. They controlled the space. But I want to see it differently because the way we're constructed is different. We're now built to try and run a game. Because you look at the players that we've put in there. McAllister is a ball playing midfielder, so is Szoboszlai, so is Curtis Jones. We are now built to try and run a game. We're not built for this shackle thing where every man's got to cover spaces and you've got to kind of play chess. Now we are built to overrun the opponent. Do you get what I'm trying to say, bro? So now I want to see Szoboszlai and McAllister and whoever's with my man control the game and boss games. Or if not, if you don't boss a game, show man you can be decisive, and that's what I want to see against Spurs. But that's the first game I'm really going to be looking forward to. Where I think you know what I'm saying?
That is going to be a huge game, bro. Especially with them coming off the back of the Arsenal draw and having that confidence, showing the resilience to come back in the North London derby. It's going to be at their ground, which means that it's definitely going to be hostile.
Son scares me, you know. I know we're going to do the preview thing, but Son scares me, you know.
But Son down the middle is just clinical.
Oh, bruv, do you know what it is? I don't want to.
He's just clinical, bruv.
People are going to have a go at me because they're going to say this is a lazy comparison. It reminds me of when Mane went down the middle in his final season for us, where we unlocked like that final. Like it's almost like Mane went final form. Like he just bro, you see Son down the middle because he hasn't got the running is a bit different. You ain't got to worry about worrying about the flipping the right back and Son can just worry about being in the right place at the right time, and because he's got an engine anyway, he's still gonna do his defensive work. But Son through the middle, did you see one of the finishes with the left foot, where the ball got played and the little touch,
bro? You see Son, yeah. And you know already, I'm not just saying this because of what we witnessed at the weekend. I've always said this about Son. I think Son is one of the most clinical wingers I've ever seen in my life. Like, if you're actually just talking about like one chance, kill, bang, he's like a striker almost in just. But do you know how mad clinical Son is? It's actually crazy how good he is at finishing with his left and his right foot.
He's top 3. When Son's on it, he's top 3 easily in the Prem in terms of think of any forward. I'm gonna say Haaland, Son, and I was gonna say Kane. I realized Kane's gone, so it'll be Haaland, Son. Ooh, who's third? People, who would you say is third? Let me ask the people then. Like when people Salah, hey, that's silly. Why didn't I say Salah? So yeah, so Salah.
Nah, you know what?
When everyone's at their maximum, so when everyone's gone Super Saiyan God, yeah, I
think Salah needs more chances to score than Son does.
When he's Super Saiyan God, fam. Salah.
No, obviously he's a better player, but I'm talking about the clinicalness. Let's be honest. One thing we all know is Salah will waste a lot of chances. Like he will. Like, we got to be honest as a fan base. As much, that's why we all say, right, imagine if he was more clinical, how many goals he'd actually score when he's already banging in 40, 50 goals as it is. in my opinion, Son is actually more clinical than Salah.
Would you say? Would you put Jota in there? If like this is when everyone's at their
I see
peak.
Dave saying it. Yeah, Jota could possibly be more clinical than Salah for real. There's a
When
possibility.
everyone's when everyone's on their A game, like if you said to someone, everyone's in form, you got 2 chances. How many is everyone buried? You know what? Jota might bury both, you know. If everyone's at their remember when Jota scored, was it 20 goals in the season? That season there.
Yeah. I think Jota is more clinical than Mo, to be honest. I'm not saying there's a massive gulf, but he probably is. He probably is our most clinical player, isn't it?
Yeah, so you probably go so Jota, Son, and probably Haaland are the 3 most clinical players. Let's not, because we're not doing the position thing. Let's just say players when they're on form, them players there you look at and go, yeah.
Here's the mad thing again. I'm just gonna say it and let's move on. Yeah. But
don't.
You see the list that you said, yeah?
Yeah.
Based off of the amount of big chances I see Haaland miss.
Oh my! Do you know what, bro? Let me just do the show by myself.
Nah, look. It's a conversation. Like Son.
What?
I don't see Son wasting as many chances as I see Haaland wasting.
But bro, look how many goals I get what you're saying.
Yeah, he scored because he gets 100 chances a game, bro.
Well, what about but you see last season? Remember this? Haaland is not at final form yet. You do realize that. You do realize that. And some people saying he's wasteful, yeah. Last season he was not wasteful. You're basing it off this season.
No, he was. He was very wasteful.
Hear me out. Last season, what was Son doing last season?
He gets like 8 to 10 chances minimum a game, so he's gonna score because he's a good player. But like, if we're actually talking about wastefulness, I think he's more wasteful than Son. Honestly, I do. Son doesn't really get many chances, bro. But when he gets
last season with Son, what about last season? What was Son doing then?
Last season,
I was a blip.
He was playing wide last season, and we've already established he's not quite got it anymore to be that wide player. And let's be honest, Conte just absolutely ripped the soul out of Tottenham, bro. He did, bro. Come on, he did, man.
I can't do this.
He did, bro. He ripped the soul out of Tottenham, bro. So all I'm saying is, it's not a comparison thing. I'm just saying.
You think Son is more? So what I'm about to say to you, everyone's on form because I didn't do the whole right now. I said when everyone's at their best, yeah, everyone's transcended to their final form. You're saying Son is more clinical than Haaland.
I'm saying left foot, right foot. He's more clinical than Haaland. Yes, I would trust Son on his weak foot more than I would trust Haaland.
I understand that, but then I would also trust Haaland's movement. Haaland's movement is
second to none as a striker. Yeah, that's
why. But he sees things that Son doesn't see. So even though Son is better on his weaker foot, I agree with you because Son is more ambidextrous. But Haaland can see. You see, for example, you see like headers and stuff. Because remember, we're talking variety of finishing, fam. You see like a header, picking Haaland. If it's some acrobatic bicycle kick, I'm picking Haaland. But then at the same time, if you said weak foot, I'm picking Son. You know when that's what I'm saying. When it's like final form, bro. You see Haaland when he's on it, yeah. I see him just moving defenders, fam.
But now you're talking about his all-round game. I was just talking about wastefulness / clinical. Yeah, not the overall game and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is, if you're just talking about like in front of goal in any kind of scenario. The fact that Son is so ambidextrous and he's so good at finishing on both feet, it's almost like I'm inclined to believe he would waste less chances than Haaland would. Do you know what I mean? Like, Haaland doesn't seem very convincing on his right foot to me, from what I've seen over the last few years.
He's not, but then at the same time, I always think this is what not annoys me. This ain't at you, by the way. So far for me, Son has shown he can reach a world-class level, but he never stays there. Like, because he goes through these patches. Like, see, last season, like, I gotta keep it a buck. That's why, like, even though he's been sick and I know how good he can be, remember, this guy, if I'm not mistaken, has won a golden boot, shared a golden boot, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. He can be an absolute killer. But then other days, fam, he can just look like doo-doo. Not doo-doo, that's extreme. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, he just don't look like...
I get all of that, but Spurs will do that to you. But I get all of that. I get all of
I
that.
don't know. I go. Listen, I don't think he's more clinical than Haaland, but maybe you've got to think about chance creation and whatnot. However, I'm not going to sit here and say what you're saying is like absolute madness because, like I said before, Son is one of the most clinical forwards, in my opinion, in the Premier League, and I do think he's top three.
And
Wherever you
don't
put
sleep
him,
on Son's
first, second, or
movement
third.
either, you know.
No. I'm just saying, but his movement can't test Haaland. When Haaland goes to bed, he thinks about movement, fam. He's a program. He's a program that's always updating. I'm telling you, blood. Man probably goes to bed with the VR thing on, the Apple VR, looking at people. But I'm telling you, he's crazy.
You know, it's funny what John's saying about how we should. Son is one of the players I'm always going to feel got away. I always felt like Liverpool should have bought Son. You know, I've always felt like he's
All right,
the
let me
type of
ask you
player.
the uncomfortable conversation.
If Klopp got hold of Son when Son
Let me
was
ask
in
you
his
this
team,
question. If I said to you right now, for the next 3 years, you can either have Luis Diaz or Son. Who you picking?
no, Son's past his best now. So
You think
it
he's
would
past his
definitely.
best?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's past his best now. I'm not saying he's crap. Of course, he's not crap. But I think that's the reason he's transitioned into a centre player rather than a wide player because he's past his best now, isn't it? So I'm
But let me
picking.
ask. The
I'm
next two
picking.
seasons, if I said to you, let me ask you this then: next 2 seasons, you can swap Son with Nunes.
No.
Next 2 seasons, and then you can get
No,
Nunes. Then you can get
no,
Nunes back. Nunes has got the buy, but we'll get him back. But I'm saying, would you do the
no.
loan for 2 years?
The world's not ready for what Nunes is about to do. But what I would say is, if you'd have told me,
he didn't take the bait, people. He didn't take the bait.
if you'd have told me that I've got to take this 26-year-old version of Diaz, or go back to the 26-year-old version of Son, it might be a drink champs thing where like I just have to take a shot, blood. You know what I mean?
Oh, the drink chat. I know about that. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it's
Because
techie.
the 26-year-old version of Son, that was my guy. Like,
we have to keep it a buck in it. If it was, I'm not gonna say it. I'll let the people say it. 26-year-old Jota or 26-year-old Son. Let me get my drink still.
I can't lie to you, but I'm taking
patting up my
26-year-old. I'm taking the
patting up my
26-year-old Son. I have, you know me. I've always got to keep it a buck, bro. I'm keeping the 26-year-old. I'm taking the 26-year-old Son.
People, how old is Jota now, by the way? Because I actually just thought about it. How old is Jota now?
I think he's 27. I think.
Is he 27? Because I don't.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, a lot of people are putting Son in the chat. Well, you lot, you better hope I don't say a screenshot this chat and out you lot now. Yeah, you see you lot in the chat that always want to give me a hard time. Let me read out some names: Tom Mizzy, Sahil Morton, Star Dazin, Dave, Abdus, H, yeah, PE,
But who would you take? 26-year-old Jota or a 26-year-old Son?
I never answered the question. There's a reason why I didn't answer the question.
Wait, drink champs, yeah, man.
I'm drinking to that. It's my question. I drink to that still. You get me? See, you lot I just mentioned. Yeah, you lot need to watch yourselves. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. All you lot, yeah. Remember that. If we ever get into any ruckers, just remember, I'll always bring this up. You taking Son over Jota. It's all right. Todd Mizzy's double down on it. I always rate Son from he's double. Okay, Todd Mizzy, I see you. I listen, Todd Mizzy, I don't want no smoke because I know what you're about, but I'm just saying the screenshots don't lie, brother. You know what I'm saying? H, don't try it. It's my question. I don't need to answer my own question. What kind of stupidness is that? Yeah.
Nah, that is what you call a swerve.
I'm not doing them things there. You get me? Star Dazen says, damn, Matt, I never snitched on you and backed you in the Batman argument versus Drift, brother. Nah, come on, people, man. Listen. I got a fend for myself, innit? You know, there was. Now I'm joking.
Do you know what? I think Hugo's hit the nail on the head. The only man who could keep up with peak Son was Mane.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because I think Mane was like, it's different. Because Mane for me, this is a bold statement.
Mane was better than Son.
Mane still might be the most complete striker complete forward that we've ever had at Liverpool.
What, in terms of like left foot, right foot, headers?
Everything. The only person I can compare to him is Salah. He's the only person. The reason I'm even thinking is because the defensive work that Mane done was so stupid. I think to myself, Salah weren't built like that.
Yeah, he wasn't.
But Salah was. What I'm saying is this: I still think Salah will still end up being like the GOAT, so to speak, here. But I just look at Mane and think, when Mane was at Liverpool and when Mane especially was in like his peak years. No, my guy, Conor Red outfit. You're saying so? No. I'm saying under Klopp, bro. Under Klopp. I'm not saying Suarez. No, under Klopp, people. Under Klopp. It's not Suarez. Talk about Jurgen. I'm saying Mane. Yeah, but I think Mane was the most complete under Klopp. You know, defensively and attacking wise, it's just different. It's just different. I don't know.
You know what? Yeah, I'm going to be honest.
But Salah's the only one. But what it is, the reason why Salah keeps going to new heights is because Salah's goal scoring exploits are like out of this world, and he's been so consistent. Like, so maybe you can't compare. Maybe it's like a draw. Because one thing we don't like to do, people, and you like to tell us, people, I don't want to always do the stats thing. Like, we can sit here and talk about stats, yeah. And Salah's stats are just stupid, innit? But you can't always put Mane's stats there because, like, I still remember random games. Like, let me see if I can do a cow here. Leicester, where man had Chilwell on lockdown defensively and was still attacking wise. He was an absolute killer. It's stuff like that. Now, Bobby goes in that category, but like, I love Bobby, but Mane, I don't know, man. Mane's just Mane, innit? Like, Bobby's crazy.
I will always say peak Mane will never be appreciated the way it was supposed to have been.
Peak Mane is like...
Peak Mane will never, ever be appreciated the way he was supposed to be. Peak Mane was one of the most unplayable players I've ever seen in my life. Like, you didn't know if he was going to go left, right, through you, over you. Like, you didn't know what was happening, bro. And again, this is what I'm saying. Weak foot was brilliant. Right foot was sensational. Like, the work rate, the energy, the pace. Bro, he's one of the best headers I've ever seen. And he's only like little. Like, it's weird how he's so good with headers.
Mane is...
Like, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, peak Mane will never, ever be appreciated the way he was supposed to.
Do you know what else I think about Mane? When Mane signed for Liverpool, he changed the way how we played on the right. Then he said to Salah, "Don't worry, you take the right. I'm going to sort out the left. Give me like a couple months, and man will pattern that up." Before you know it, Mane was when Mane found his form at Liverpool on the left, he was the best left winger in world football. The only person that we even need to speak about a comparison would be Neymar for different circumstances. Do you understand? I remember there was these debates like who was better, and it's like, yeah, Neymar probably had maybe more natural ability, but as a complete player, like defensively and offensively, Mane was arguably the best in the world, bro. Left wing. Are you crazy? No one could talk to Mane. Mane could walk into any team in world football, bro.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Remember against Bayern?
I would say from 17, 18 to 2021, Mane was clearly the best left winger, in my opinion. In that period there, in that 3 or 4 year period, especially 17, 18, 19, and 19, 20. Like, there's no question for me.
Yeah, there was like 3 years where Mane and like basically what it is, yeah, we had two of the best wingers like in world football, and like that's why we were so like unstoppable, so to speak. Like we were just like we basically there was nothing that could stop us from an offensive point of view. Obviously, we had the games, I get it, low block and red to tear, but that's more to do with the midfield. But just in terms of like what those players offered, bro, anybody would say I'll take a Mane. I see someone put Sane in the chat. Listen, I rate Leroy Sane, but he wasn't on Mane's level like that. I have to keep it up, but I rate Sane highly. No. But he wasn't doing what Mane was doing. Mane Mane was a one-man wrecking machine, whether Salah was playing or not. And more time Salah was playing because them man don't even miss games. They never get injured as well. But Mane was just different. Remember, Pep used to have nightmares about their man there.
The creativity and do you remember against Everton when Mo was missing from the game and Origi came in and Mane just went into his creative bag, bruv. And the passes he was making, like the pass I'm sure he set up Origi's first goal, he set up Shaqiri's goal, and then he had that 1-2 with Trent from a counter attack, and then he scored with his weak foot. Like it's like the Barcelona 4-0. I don't think people quite understand how much Mane was going Super Saiyan in that game, bro. Like it's just anyway. Yeah, I don't want to reminisce.
Mane was just different.
I don't want to reminisce about peak Mane because it'll make me get emotional. So yeah.
Nah. Let me read out the supers, and then we're going to talk about the next topic. Best Heart, big at itself, says, I want to say hello from Vienna. Big at your show, brother. Big at yourself. I love your show. And I was at the last versus Liverpool game, and my son got a signature from Salah. Oi, big up your son, brethren.
Yeah, big up.
Big up, man. Oi, and blessings from Vienna as well, brother. Trust me. Love for that as well. Big up you and your family, my G. Foot LFC, why is Son still at Spurs? Wish we had signed him. I'll be honest, his loyalty is actually through the roof. Like, he's 31, and only now does he look potentially like Spurs could maybe win something. Like, that's no disrespect to Spurs when I say this, but I do find it kind of mad that he stayed there, but I just think he's one of the rare ones. He's mad loyal, you know. He's mad loyal, bro.
And somebody has to make a bid for you to move on as well. Like, I don't think anybody ever truly tried to sign him.
Yeah.
But he does seem like an extremely loyal player, though, for real.
Yeah, no, he does. Big up Anthony James, big up Kopish turned 23 on the 23rd in 2023. Yo,
happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, bro. Let me smash that. Let me smash the celebration thing. Big up yourself. Happy birthday, my G. Happy birthday, Anthony James, on the 23rd, turned 23 in 2023. Jeez. Big up Gang and Deep. Besides Villa, we haven't played well across 90 minutes. Playing well in parts of the game isn't sustainable. Long-term performance need to be better. If our first half against Spurs is like our last 3 games, we could be down 1 or 2. What are you saying about that, Drift?
That's very true. That's very true. We don't want to be giving Son those chances we've been giving other people because he will put them away. That's
he will bury them.
And Son always has a good game against us as well. So, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that is a worry.
The game's. I don't even. Do you know what it is? Imagine it's only Monday. The game's not until Saturday, and I'm already worried about that game.
But what I will say is, I understand that we haven't been having a good performance across 90 minutes, but to not watch face, but to do so only for comparison, nobody has. If I'm being quite honest with you, I've watched a lot of football this season, especially a lot of our rivals, and not even Man City, who are obviously having a brilliant start to the season, have been dominant and played well for 90 minutes. It's very difficult to play good for 90 minutes. And I'm just happy that we're finishing games strongly. I had this conversation with Cal and with the boys on the weekend, Matt. I know you weren't there, but I'm still happier to. I know in an ideal world you want both, but I'm happier to start a game poorly and end it brilliantly than the other way round, because you're more likely to lose the game when you end it badly than if you end it well. And yes, you can end up chasing shadows, you can end up being behind, etc., etc. And maybe the deficit could be too big to catch up. Yes, I understand that. But I still believe it's better to finish games stronger than it is to start games well and then finish terribly. And we've got to cut it out. We have to, for some reason, we're doing the exact opposite of what we usually do under Klopp, because normally we are fast starters historically under Klopp. So it is a bit weird. It's the other way around, but we haven't conceded a goal until we played West Ham. We hadn't conceded a goal in the last hour of a game. That's a pretty impressive record. Like, even though I get that people are concerned or annoyed at the start of the game, do you not think it's still a very impressive record to have not conceded a goal for the final hour of all the games that we played? Like, that's an hour worth of a clean sheet at the end of every single game. That's kind of impressive if you think about it.
It is. It is. I just think what it is, and I kind of agree with what Gangan Deep is saying, because what he's saying is like, against, like, you see, I think about the Wolves header by Cunha and the Antonio header by Cunha. Funny enough, both similar. Ball gets played in kind of near back post. Both players fluffed it. And if say both of them score, I still think we win the game, but we're just making it harder for ourselves. Because I think we've got I think we might have arguably the best firepower in Europe, or we're definitely like top 3 or top 5 in the whole of Europe. We're top 5 easily. It's not a debate. It's actually not a debate. Collectively, like, not many teams can par with us when it comes to attacking it. They can't. However, I do agree that you don't want to like give the opponent too much optimism, and not only that, you're a bit slow. And a good team like a Spurs, like, say they do score early and they are a good team as well, you don't want to give them too much confidence. So we have to be careful, like, in terms of how we approach games. But you're right, that stat is impressive. I didn't even realize that. And one thing we kind of, I'll even add to what you just said, Drift, as well. Defensively, that's even more impressive when you consider our defense has had to be reshuffled quite a bit. Robertson's only ever present. Van Dijk has missed games. Gomez hasn't played at centre back. He's either played at centre back or right back. Matip hasn't played every game, and Trent's obviously been injured. So we've had to reshuffle. So to think about a defense that's had to reshuffle quite a bit already this season, that's pretty impressive. And that could also be down to why defensively we just look a little bit out of sorts at times when people catch us a bit cold, so to speak, and then we have to grow into a game.
Yeah, so
that's a big aspect of it for me personally.
I completely agree that we've got to start games better. We do, but yeah, and again, I know. Obviously, like, if Antonio takes his chance against West Ham, for example, then it could have been different. They would have scored first, etc., etc. But I still believe that when you look at the scenario of the second half of games, especially, and the fact that we've been playing well and we've been finishing stronger than we start, I still think there's a positive to be looked at within the negative that people are worried about. Do you know what I mean? Because let me flip it. The Chelsea game is the only game that I think was really disappointing this season, because we didn't get the win against a team that clearly we should have. And that was Chelsea's best game by a country mile, the game they played against us, the opening game of the weekend, yeah? What's mad is, if you flip it on its head and you look at the fact that for the first 20 to 30 minutes, we were brilliant in that game, but we just never scored in the time we were dominant. And then Chelsea were better than us for like the remainder of the game. That is exactly what I'm trying to say now about why it's better to finish strong than to start strong sometimes.
No,
because
of course.
Look how annoyed we were at the game against Chelsea when we started wicked, but we came out of that game so annoyed because in the second half, we just didn't see any fight. We didn't play properly. We didn't look right. And at the end of that game, we were extremely frustrated and annoyed at the fact that we didn't do what we were supposed to do in that second half. And now people are moaning that we're doing what we're supposed to do in the second half because we didn't start well. So it's like, it's hard to get a balance of like perfectness because there's no such thing as perfect.
People just don't want us to
it would be good to start well and finish well. But I'm just saying, if I could only pick one, I actually would prefer to end the game well than to start the game well, just based on the fact that more more chance of winning the game for me. Unless you get like a crazy 4-0 lead when you start well, then yeah, of course,
Of course,
that's totally different, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
but yeah, I don't know.
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Where is it now? Big up Taji. Today, my mum, Queen Day fam, dropped the beat for my. Hey, big up your mum, Taji, bro, on her birthday. Happy birthday to Mumsy,
Happy
bro.
birthday, man.
Trust me, G. Happy birthday to Mumsy. Joey, guys, who's better at peak, Muller or Griezmann?
I'd probably go Muller.
I think Muller as well. I think Muller is one of the most underrated players of probably of his generation. I think peak Muller was this guy might not have been the fastest, the strongest, but mentally and what he was able to do with the abilities that he had, I'm not gonna lie to you. Man was actually a flipping beast, you know. Muller was a problem, you know.
I don't
Peak
mean
Muller in the 10.
I'm not trying to do this to spark a conversation. Let's just move on. But I do think Griezmann is also a slightly overrated footballer.
Oh, let's not do this, fam. Let's not do this.
I never quite got the hype around Griezmann.
Griezmann is a very good player. Played amazing for France. Atletico was very, very restricted.
Exactly, he's a very good player, but people said he was world class. I don't think he was world class.
He might have. Do you know what? There might have been a time when he was world class here, but even for Atletico, it's like man had to fight his manager. He had to fight the system. He had to fight the players. Bro, he had to fight everything just to show man he was world class. I can't lie. Griezmann, it's like, all right, do you know what it is? Actually, no, because if I say that, it's peak. But Griezmann at France was was different. But again, that's just international. So, yeah, I don't know. The price tag up there, the thing at Barca didn't really work out. Still, I can't even lie. Messi just said you're not good enough. But it's a lot to play Messi unless you're built different. Suarez, Brace said, big up to the lads so far this year. Caicedo must be absolutely miserable knowing he could have been at Liverpool right now. Of course, facts, bro. You know, it's like I said at the start of the show, or near the start of the show, that Caicedo is definitely under a lot of pressure. Your Chelsea's like most expensive signing. The team is playing like shockingly, and you're not helping matters. You've given away a penalty. There's even more pressure on you because you're supposed to be the star guy, but because you're a CM/CDM, you're going to have to do a lot to change those games. Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a long road back for Caicedo. Do I think he'll turn it around? Yes, because I don't think Chelsea will be like this forever. It could potentially take them a season, which, again, I find that ludicrous because you can't spend all that money and almost get a blight. Like, it kind of annoys me that, like, Chelsea can spend, like, $1 billion in, like, 2-3 windows and still get a blight. And people will say things, the injuries and stuff, but that's not my business, isn't it? You spend that money. It's not my fault if you go and buy injury-prone players or whatever, or things just aren't working out. You better sort that out. So, yeah, to you Chelsea fans, don't want to hear no excuses. You spent all that money. You better go do something. If not, you're getting cussed out. It's that simple. Don't care. And last but not least, Star Days. And what do you guys think about Pogba's future? If I'm not mistaken, he's still at Juve. But I'm gonna be honest. I think he goes Saudi in the summer. That's that.
That's if he's allowed to play. Remember, he's got the drug thing against him.
Drug? What drug? Huh?
Hold on, you didn't know that Pogba failed a drug test?
No. What drug test?
Pogba failed a drug test, bro.
Are you joking?
No, bro. Yeah, bro.
People, is it just it's just being on? What? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm being serious, bro.
Dope. What? So he's on an Angelone thing?
Well, basically, he had a extremely heightened amount of
Testosterone.
testosterone in his body.
Someone said he took steroids. Oh, you know what it is. All right, so I'm gonna break it down for you people.
Testosterone helps you to heal quicker, and
Yeah,
obviously
so
he's going through his injury problems. So
I don't want the smoke, so I'm gonna say this. There's a UFC guy that's been out for a minute. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. And he's
we're
gotten a
not
lot.
gonna do this.
No. I'm just saying, and I'm just saying, allegedly, it looks like he's put on a few pounds, looking a bit different. And he had a bad injury, and people are saying he has to kind of. There's a reason why he took himself out of USADA. Now, you know what I'm saying? And now it's techie. People know what I'm talking about. And one thing I will say is I've never been an athlete to kind of like to have to go through that trauma of when you think your career is going to end, and doctors, for example, might even say to you, you might need some of this in your body to help it heal, or you might get some advice and you have to be careful. Now, like I said before, it's not my career, innit? I can't really speak for other people. It's quite sad though if that has happened though, because one thing I will say, Pogba's got no allegiance to Liverpool or anybody else other than Man United and Juve. And if you go through a dark path and you get told this will make yourself heal or whatever, you might take that path because remember, bro, if I'm not mistaken, every time he made a comeback, he got injured. Bro, if he made a comeback for Juve in 5 minutes or something, he got injured. Did he make it again? So I kind of feel sorry for him. Like, if that's the case, like, it doesn't excuse him, but it's quite sad. That's how his career could turn out to be. I don't know. But yeah, like I said before, not going to go into the specifics. You know the person I'm talking about. I'm just going to say MMA. I'm not even going to say the company. Could be talking about Strikeforce. Yeah, might not talking about the other one. But yeah, if you do them things there, I don't know, innit? Like, it's mad. It's mad. I can't lie. It's mad. It's mad. But yeah, that might be Paul Pogba guy in Saudi, and I didn't even know what he was doing.
If you're banned, aren't you banned worldwide?
I don't, Bob. I don't remember. Is he actually banned? I don't know the ins and outs. Or is he just?
I think he's suspended at the moment, and the talk is if the ban is actually upheld from what he's been suspended for, then I'm sure they said 2 years.
But is that in Europe? Is that European football?
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know whether Saudi League counts. If it's a world thing, I'm not sure.
Said there's an investigation. Saudi could do it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm Paul Pogba, I'm finding out all the I's and T's in terms of like, yo, does this league count outside of? Because yeah, it's mad.
If he's banned for 2 years, then in terms of Europe, he'll never play here again, regardless.
No, he won't. I don't think
with the injury record he's got and all that kind of stuff, I think he'll be 32 or 33 by the time the ban's over. Like, who's going to take Pogba at that age? Nobody.
Yeah, nice, mad.
With 2 years of not kicking ball. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's looking mad for Pogba, I'm not going to lie. A certain left back has signed a new deal. His name goes by Kostas Tsimikas. Signed a new deal till 2027, so a new 4-year deal. There were rumors before a couple weeks ago that he had signed, but I remember I specifically said he's rumored to have agreed a new deal, and we're still waiting for official confirmation. The official confirmation happened today. Kostas Tsimikas signs a new 4-year deal. Me personally, I'm not surprised. I think it's actually, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. Surprised that like Liverpool actually still wanted to keep him. I'll be honest with you, because there were times when I thought to myself, sorry, let me rephrase that. He always wanted to stay at Liverpool, so I'm not surprised. But I'm surprised that Liverpool wanted to keep him. That's what I meant to say, sorry. Because there were times when I felt like he could have played more and Klopp never played him. And I thought to myself, Tsimikas ain't going to agree to this, you know. Man's actually in a good run of form, and man will still pick Robbo. Like, it's just a bit mad. But I personally think it's well deserved. I think he's more than good enough to kind of challenge Robbo. And I hope it gives him a new lease of life. But I also want to see Klopp actually utilize him properly as well. I don't just want it to be a thing of like, I don't know, like to sign him up, like just to sign him up sake. So I'm hoping that Klopp kind of sticks by his word. Play the man if he plays well, because like don't do the whole because Robbo's the first choice left back, just play him, and Robbo gets preferred treatment. Do you get what I'm saying, Drift? So like I'm happy for Tsimikas, but I just don't want him to kind of just sign that new deal. And for all we know, it could be just better terms, and it's giving ourselves a little bit more breathing room if we want to find a new left back in the next year or two, which it probably still is, because I don't know. I just think this club really, really likes Tsimikas like that, but I don't know. What are you saying, Drift? I'm happy about the extension though.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a few things, bro. If I'm being honest, I think a good backup left back is extremely hard to find. So we have a bit of a gem in that regard.
Yeah.
And I also think that the club are just learning from their mistakes as well, which is one thing that we always ask that they do. We lost a lot of players for free. I think this is about protecting his value more than anything, if I'm being honest, bro, because he'll be able to walk away for free. I think he only had 1 year left on his deal, right? So
I don't
he
even
would
know.
have
It might have,
basically,
yeah, it might have
he would have
still.
basically, at the end of this year, it would have basically been the scenario we was in with Oxen Abbey, where they had 1 year left. Nobody is willing to pay. They'll just wait till they're free, kind of thing. And maybe Tsimikas was also thinking himself that I don't want to waste all that time waiting to be free. So better I get a bit of a pay rise and hang around. And if I get sold, I get sold, rather than just doing what Naby and Ox did, where like your career just filters out because you know you're going, and then you just leave
Yeah,
for free.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
really get to go to a team you want to go to. Let's be
Mhm.
honest. Ox and Naby, neither of them have ended up at a club they would have wanted to have gone to. And I
Agreed.
mean that with the
Besiktas
greatest of
and
respect.
where did we
But
go
it's the
again?
Besiktas
Werder,
and
Werder Bremen or
Wolfsburg, isn't
something.
it?
Is it Wolfsburg or Werder Bremen? I can't remember, fam.
We're one of the two.
One
But
of
we
them
all
two,
know that
innit?
them two players would have not. And shout out to Ox, that
100%.
goal he scored the other day was superb.
Yeah, he scored
But
a winner. He scored a winner still, I think.
nobody would have ever. They
Big up
wouldn't
the
have
Ox.
picked those two teams, right? So
Mm.
sometimes maybe Tsimikas looks at it like, you know what, I'd rather be number 2 at Liverpool. Because remember, we've had this conversation before, yeah, and a lot of people said it lacks ambition, and I understand that. But what I rate though is people who know their role. And remember, we've
Yeah.
spoken about this with Adrian, for example. People will say, right, Adrian's 33 years old. He's not got much left football in him, right? Why is he not going to go to a team and actually play first team football at the end of his career and actually get some game time? But I'll say to you this: some people, they don't want to go and play for, I don't know, Leighton Orient to get game time and play week in, week out and go through the rigors and the stress of being the number one goalie at a team that never does anything and he's constantly getting packed out all the time. Some people would rather be at AXA, chilling, having banter, being on the Liverpool bus with all these world class players and know they're not going to play much, but getting 60 grand a week. Some people are okay with that. And I respect the people that are okay with that because they
Yeah,
know their
yeah, I
role.
hear that, I hear that,
You get what I'm saying? They know their role. So maybe Tsimikas is thinking, I'd rather be a backup left back at a world class team like Liverpool than go be the starting lineup back left back at like some team, I don't know, like Feyenoord or someone who I might win something, but it's not going to be anywhere near as glamorous. It's not going to be as good. And some players are like that. Maybe Tsimikas is thinking, I'd rather be a backup at Liverpool than play somewhere else, you know? So,
Yeah, no, listen, I fully understand that. I'm just glad that he signed because I think it would have been another transfer for next season where it's like, oh my days, like say he leaves, we've got to find another left back and I think Tsimikas is more when here's the thing with Tsimikas, just like Robbo, he needs form though. And I think sometimes he's with Tsimikas is a bit unfair, but at the same time, it's not. If Robertson has a really bad game, we're screaming saying Tsimikas should play. But then if Tsimikas doesn't have a good game, we're like, oh, well, he's missed his chance. But then it's like, it's unfair for someone just to say to you, you've got one chance here to kind of like change people's minds or have a great game. If not, you just go back to not playing. And I think that's where that mentality that you have has to be on a different level. I think Tsimikas does have that because there was a few times when Robertson was having some bad games last season and Tsimikas didn't play. But then there were times when Tsimikas, even when he was brought in, wasn't the greatest. There was some he had these games where he was good, and then these games where you're like, bro, Tsimikas just didn't answer the call, innit?
I feel sorry for him, bro, because I think Tsimikas is a rhythm player and he doesn't get
He is,
much
bro.
chance to build up rhythm in it. That's what the problem is.
That's
So
what I'm saying, bro.
I
I
feel a bit bad
guarantee
for him.
you, if Tsimikas played 5-6 games in a row, I'm not gonna lie to you. I reckon it's a problem for Robbo. Like
Possibly.
5-6, save Klopp. If Klopp said to man, you're gonna have 5-6 games, no matter what happens, you can relax, play your game. I'm not gonna lie to you. Tsimikas is a problem because I will say this about Robbo and Tsimikas. Robbo is better at like running with the ball, like dribbling, like in terms of bringing the ball out. But Tsimikas, in my opinion, more times than not, has a better delivery. More times than
Yeah,
not.
he was even doing some good crosses the other day in the I think he'll get all the Europa League games, all the League Cup games, unless we play like a Man City or an Arsenal. And I think he'll probably get the early rounds of the FA Cup again, unless we have a big team that we're playing against. So I think Tsimikas is probably in for some football in comparison to the previous year. So yeah, maybe from his point of view, he's even thinking, I'm gonna take this opportunity to grab that Europa League spot and play well and force my way into the team, at least for the cup games. So, and again, I was saying to Cal, and then it gives Robbo a week off where we used to play Champions League and he used to get rinsed every 3 days. Robbo's 29 now. He's getting to the age where you've got to be a lot more
Yeah, we've got to be
telling,
mind.
and
Yeah,
you've
you got
got
to
to
be
be a bit
mindful of
more
the man's
mindful of it.
minutes.
And
Yeah, yeah,
remember, other than Bobby, I think Robbo's done more running in the Liverpool team than anybody over the Klopp reign. Like Robbo's running has not stopped since the first game he started until now. Like he's always energy up, down, up, down, up, down the wing. So he's burnt out a little bit as well. I think having a whole week off and playing Simi in the midweek games could be brilliant for Robbo at the end of his career at Liverpool and
yeah.
for Tsimikas getting more game time. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I think you'll be hard pressed to find a better backup left back than Tsimikas. Then I do.
No, I agree, and I'm just happy that he signed, like I said, bro, because finding a backup left back ain't easy, and I think he does push Robbo personally. I think he does, and I think, yeah, if it wasn't for Tsimikas, I'd almost feel like Robertson would just have it easy, so to speak, and just like could have them bad performances and get away with it, even though he kind of still does. But at the same time, there are times when Klopp does surprise him with like, "Oh, Ross, Tsimikas is playing, yeah. All right, calm." Robert's actually had a bad because that's what it should be, though. If you have a bad game, the player who's fighting for your position should actually have a chance. They should, and not only that, it shouldn't just be just one game. It should be more than one game. It should be a couple of games to see if they can improve on that performance that you brought them in for. So, yeah, man, big up Tsimikas on his new deal, man. Trust me, I think it's well deserved, and I think he has really pushed Robertson, in my opinion, and he's made Robertson a better player because Robertson knows he can't rest on his laurels, fam. He really can't. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, and
yeah,
people go easy on him as well when he does get a game because if he's going to be a squad player, I know he has to be impactful when he plays. But I think it's also quite harsh to be judgmental on some players who haven't played much football. Like I know we want to win and all that stuff, but you have to take the human side into it, man. And you can't just be angry at a player because he can't switch it on every 10 games. Some players need rhythm. Some players can't just. I remember when I used to play ball. If I hadn't played for a little while, I was nowhere near as good as if I'd been playing for weeks because
no,
I was
definitely,
probably a rhythm player myself.
yeah.
So yeah, you've got to give people time when they do get the opportunity. Don't be like he had one bad game, he's crap, get rid of him. Like, come on, man, that's over the top. That's way over the top. Like, I think Tsimikas has proved in his time at Liverpool he's talented. So just give him a chance.
Definitely. People, listen, man. We're coming towards pretty much the end of the show. You know what I'm saying? I know normally you might have us here for like 3 hours on a Monday sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But it's a bit different. It was a bit late this week, so we do apologize. But don't forget, people. Obviously, we'll be back for the preview, which I believe will be tomorrow. Am I right in saying that, Drift? Tomorrow?
Most likely, yeah.
Most likely
Most
tomorrow
likely,
for the preview. Also, we'll be there for Wednesday as well for the game. I don't think the game is being shown on UK TV. Surprise, surprise. So we most likely, in fact, not most likely, we'll definitely be there for the match reaction. If anything changes and we can do a potential watch along, we'll see what can happen because we're trying to see if we can get some things in place. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what happens there. But yeah, man. Trust me, I think everyone should be happy so far in this season. Well, I know it's only 6 games into the Prem, but I don't think we should be moaning. Yeah, we can have like worries and like, them things that we're like, is this really happening? But so far, we're second in the league, and that's only been 6 games, but we've shown a good account of ourselves. Certain players have settled in straight away. Other players have now got new confidence. I can't lie. If you're a Liverpool fan, you can't really be complaining, right? Don't get me wrong. You can always think about the future. But right now, I think you got to be happy. We're the only team right now that looks like we give a damn about the Prem. Could things change? Yes, it could. It could. But right now, I'd like to think, and for you guys to think, we're only going to get better and better. You get what I'm saying?
I think that's where my optimism comes from about the season, bro, is that we look good and we haven't completely gelled and all the players haven't settled yet. So let's just hope that as they continue to settle and continue to get better, obviously it
100.
will only improve the performances. And again, there's quite a few people in our team that were getting slept on. It's good, isn't it? It's all good. Like Cody ain't even hit any form yet.
Bruv,
Like what
neither
happens?
is
What happens when that kicks in and Cody hits some form?
neither is Ibu, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Ibu hasn't played much, has he? He hasn't
Because of
really
injuries.
played.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. But here's the thing. This is why I'm so glad that like we're getting to that part where we can look at our team and go, we got a squad. Because there's gonna be games and times when people got out of form, and we're gonna need man like Cody, Ibu, whoever to step up to the plate. Because remember, we know how football works, bro. What you think is just going to be all 22, 20, 24 man that's all in form at the same time? We know that never happens.
Yeah, it
Like,
never happened.
there's going to be times when like I don't even know if I'm like Diaz is having an absolute stinker for 4 games or whatever, or Nunes or Salah, and it's like, now we need Gakpo to start now. Do you get what I'm saying? So like you need someone to always be there to answer the call, and that's why I feel like we've surprised ourselves this season, people. Yes, we know, but there's still work to be done. We are far from the finished article. Trust me. We know there's going to be harder games to come. Pause. We know we got Spurs. They're the first test, in my opinion, real test. We're going to see what they're about on Saturday evening. That's going to be a cracking game, by the way.
You think
And
so?
Yeah,
I think that's a little disingenuous to Villa, Newcastle, and West Ham, bruv. I think we've had some tests already, bruv.
No, we've had tests, but I would say Spurs will be the toughest test.
Yeah, they'll be the toughest.
But maybe you're right.
say
Maybe
they're
I'm
the
only
first
saying that
test.
because with the way how we've dispatched the other teams.
But it was still a test. Just because we came through it, it doesn't mean it wasn't a test.
No, but Spurs look like
West Ham and Villa and Newcastle, they were a big test.
No, they test.
Those teams are playing well. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course. But I look at Spurs and think, well, my man's got them on. They do look like for them to go to the Emirates and not like do what they normally do is a bold statement from them, because mentally, I always feel like Arsenal just like when they go
They've
Emirates,
got one
like,
up on them, isn't it?
yeah, like it's not like I always know what's gonna happen. This one's shocked to me. I can't even lie, fam. It shocked me. I was like,
Let me ask you a quick question before we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rodri suspended for the Arsenal game. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he got sent off at the weekend, so he's out for 3 games. And one of those games is Arsenal.
Yeah.
Declan Rice is going to be back because it's just a minor precautionary injury rather than an actual injury. So let me ask you this. If we're in a title race, we have to start thinking about who needs to drop points and where, right?
Yeah, we in that game we need either an Arsenal.
Who do you want to win that game?
Arsenal, if I'm going to pick one, because I don't think Arsenal will be as consistent as Man City. The reason I said that is because when Roger comes back into the side, I expected it to come back to go business as normal. I think Arsenal got more chinks in their armor, like you can get at them a bit more. How Spurs got at them, even though they made mistakes. I hear that Jorginho mistake, but I just think Man City are more complete. They're like
No, I hear
Arsenal's
you.
talent is getting to a real good level where I could probably say to you right now, I think Arsenal are definitely top 3 in England, like in my opinion. Like it's not a debate. I just think they're there with us and Man City. Do you get what I'm saying?
I
Like Man
understand
City,
everyone saying the draw. Like
yeah,
I
draw's the
agree
perfect
for both
result. It's the
for
perfect
both
result.
teams got points. But
But
I'm
if
saying if you had
someone
to pick
had
a
to
winner,
win, if
yeah, if
someone
you had to
had
pick
to
a
win, I'm
winner.
picking Arsenal because I know Man City. If Man City can win without Rodri, what do you think they're gonna do when they get Rodri back, bro?
But what if a winner of a Man City gave the Arsenal squad the confidence they need to go on and win?
Then it's up to us to
Because
hump.
that's one of the demons that
Hear me
Arsenal
out. Yeah,
can't
you're
get
right.
over. Remember?
Then it's up to us to say to them, man, it's not your time yet.
No, but what I mean is, it could be, you could think it's good now, but that's the confidence boost Arsenal need to believe in themselves and then go on and win. Because that's one of the hurdles they've never been able to get over is beating Man City. You get
Yeah,
what I
but they
mean?
dropped points against other teams as well, bro. Like, I know. I mean, in fact, last one was Everton. Last season they beat Everton this season, but yes, Arsenal could go on an amazing run if they beat Man City. Okay, cool. But then I'm also expecting us to be like, oh, what? Because you beat Man City, what you think? You think you're us? What you think you're us? Because everyone likes to, for people that are not Arsenal fans, like to do the whole Arsenal is so amazing. Like they're the only team to really challenge Man City last season. Everyone forgetting what we've been doing for the past 3 to 4 seasons. Like they just thought was out here just doing nothing. What they just thought we was out here just messing about. Nah, fam. We was the only team that really gave Man City problems. Every Man City fan will tell you that, fam. Not Arsenal. They never. What's so crazy? As sick as Arsenal were last season, and Arsenal was sick, by the way. Man City were never really scared of them. Do you know that? They kept on saying things like, fam, they don't know what it's like to be. They don't know what it's like. Liverpool know what it takes. They kept on saying, and I was like, no, you're disrespecting Arsenal. Like, they're really like trying to win this thing. Nah, fam. That they're good, but they're not there yet. They're not seasoned yet, fam. They're not seasoned. And they're
I hear
not.
you.
Don't get me wrong.
But again, like I said, I
Arsenal are
just thought
serious, you know. No. Arsenal play some of the best football in the league, have very, very talented players. But I'm just not going to put them in a category where I can look at them and go, they are so superior. They are the only ones that can challenge Man City. Because I don't think they are. And I could be wrong because this season, if they push them again and win the league, then I'll be like, you know what? Arsenal, yeah. They had the warm-up season and they just let loose. But I think in a weird way, we've got a part to play in this as well. As much as I want to give Arsenal credit, and I'm giving them credit, by the way, because they haven't lost a game this season. Do you get what I'm saying? They haven't lost, and neither have we, and neither have City. We're the 3 teams that look like if you're a football man or football woman, you're gonna look at it and go, yeah, it's them 3 teams there that's gonna do damage. They're gonna do damage this season. It's facts.
I think the only thing if I was them that I'd be a little bit worried about because they tried to make a lot of comparisons to that season being our 17-18 season, no, our 18-19 season
No, they
where we
got like we
came
won a
close.
Champions League, fam. We won they
Yeah,
can't do that.
no, come on, man. We know
The levels are different.
yeah, we know the levels. The
The
levels are leveling.
levels are
The levels are leveling.
they
We already
can't
know this.
they might as well have picked 17, 18. Not 18. You can't pick
But
18, 19.
But what I think is quite funny in terms of like the little bit of a difference is, unfortunately for them, what happened in 1920 when we just went ham is
Yeah.
Man City kind of felt the pressure of us going ham and they slowly fell away. And then by the time we beat them, I think it was November we beat them and we had an 11-point gap. And it was like, right, this is actually like kind of mad still. We got an 11-point gap on City in November. This is crazy. But remember, because of the way the points thing is, it was actually at a point where I think like if we'd have lost the game, it would have been down to like 5 points or something. And we're like, Man City's going to make up that 5 points so easy, right? So that win at Anfield that season was big. But what's upsetting for Arsenal, or what must be upsetting for them, is they've won less games than they did this time last season, I think. And Man City have had their best start to a season ever under Guardiola, which is weird considering how much things they've won. So it's like this was supposed to be their 1920 season when they kicked on, but City have got better and they haven't quite been able to keep the same level up. Whereas we continued our form and we just ran away with it in the end. Like it was
We won the
like,
Champions League and said, "Give us the Prem." That's the difference.
yeah,
And this is why when I say, as well as Arteta's done, because Arteta won the FA Cup, right? He won the FA Cup, yeah. Was it
I
Arteta won
tell
the
when
FA
they
Cup?
pick up in his first
Yeah,
season.
yeah. But now it's like you got to kick on, and that's why as well as Arsenal played last year, there was always a part of me that felt like they had to win something to kind of back up what they were doing. Because it's like no one cares if you finish second, bro. We finished second in that flipping the 18-19 season. Then we finished second in the what was the other season, bro? Where we're minus
Oh,
playing
it
for
was
the middle.
21-22, wasn't it?
Yeah, we finished second in that season, yeah. But it's almost like no one cares because we didn't win it. They remember that, but we're quite fortunate because we still won 2 trophies. But imagine if we didn't win those 2 trophies. You think anyone's really going to care that Liverpool finished second and you didn't win nothing?
Yeah, no,
That's
nobody
why
cares
I'm not,
about
and
positions.
that's why I'm not trying to disrespect Arsenal because, like I said before, to think about what they've had to do, transform the team, like they've done a lot, like they have, and they've done it the right way, and they've had to do it. And I said the right way. You kind of have to say like they've got American owners as well. Their model is, but yeah, their owners are putting more money, but they've had to do it patiently, and they're now getting to where they need to go. But I just think that season that they had last season, in my opinion, for you to really be some true dons this season, you had to kind of win something last season. Because when you caught everyone by surprise, you had to capitalize. Now, I could be wrong in saying this. Imagine if Arsenal win the league or they win a Champions League or whatever. Then I'll be like, you know what? Nah, do you know what? Arsenal have to give them props because after that first season, I said they had to win something. Second season, they won it. But I'm just sitting there thinking, you're asking a lot from this second season because now everyone knows what you're on as well. They obviously have a better understanding of how you play, like how you deal with adversity. Like people are more accustomed to you. Last season, you should have caught everyone by surprise, and you kind of did, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying about Arsenal.
And I'm a
But
little bit
they're doing well,
disappointed
man.
that we're not in the Champions League this season.
Oh, bro, I
Not only
know.
because I want to play in it, but I'll be honest with you, bro. This might sound stupid,
I know
but
what you're gonna say. You think
other
we
than
got a very
City, nobody stops us winning that competition, in my
funny you
opinion.
say that, yeah. You know what's so crazy?
It's the
I know I'm
weakest.
asking,
It's the weakest the Champions League's ever been. I'm sorry,
bro.
it's the
Real
weakest
Madrid
it's ever been.
with no Benzema, I just look at the Champions League and think there's no Real Madrid there. No, they're not the real Madrid. Man City are still Man City, and as good as Bayern are, like I don't know, man. Bayern still look like they could get like. I know Bayern beat Man United, but look how poor Man United are, and I think Bayern don't look all of that. But hopefully they get better during the season. And then I think like, who else is there? That's really sick.
I think
Even
other than
PSG, like
Arsenal
PSG
having
look
the
more of a
game of their
team.
life, other than Arsenal having the absolute game of their life against us across 2 legs, or playing Man City, and even this version of Real Madrid, like you said, like
It's not the same Real
I think
Madrid,
we'd be
bro.
able to break the hoodoo this year. Like they're
I
not the
think so.
same. They don't look the same. I think by the time we get to the knockout stage as well, we'd have a lot of our players a lot more used to playing in the team and stuff. And I just think, what a shame. Because I don't think we're going to take the Europa League as serious as we would have took the Champions League. And it's the mentality difference of why I would feel more confident about winning the Champions League than I do about the Europa League. Like in the Champions League, it's those famous nights. We go ham, everybody's on it. We're
No, I
all
think Klopp's
tuned
gonna
in. You get
surprise
what I mean?
people. I think we might kind of go a little bit ham in the Europa, you know. I could be wrong though.
I hope we
But
do.
yeah, Barca, you
I hope.
know, someone said Barca look good. I have to say, but and again, it's early, but I think Barca's squad looks way better. Like they look more complete. Like when I think of Barca, like just quickly off the top of my head, yeah, Araujo, Koundé, Ter Stegen in goal, flipping Balde left back, Frankie De Jong, Pedri, flipping Lewandowski, Rafinha. Who else is there? Gavi, Ferran Torres, João Felix. They got Gundogan. Like my brain's that they got players like Barca could be a problem. But again, I want to see Barca in the knockouts. Like, are you gonna just be a group stage merchant where it look like you're back, or are you just gonna fade?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
maybe
That's true.
Barca might surprise people as well. But I just look at it and think, yeah, if we were in it this season, maybe I'm being biased. I think we get semis. Minimum is semis for me. I look at it and think not many people can stop us.
It's just a
Champions
shame,
League.
innit? It's just annoying, man.
Trust me. Tom Izzy, big up yourself, brother. Watched Equalizer 3 on Sunday and thought I saw the fourth one when Bowen scored. By the way, who would rather have Paqueta, Bowen, or Kudus? Wicked left footers. Oi, big up Tom Izzy. That is a serious question, you know. I'm gonna be very bad man here. I'm gonna answer for Cal. Cal will go Bowen. Cal's a
No, I don't know if
player.
he would. You know, I think he might
Cal will
go
go Bowen.
I think he might go Paqueta.
Bruv, he's been a Bowen. I don't want to do this to Cal. Big up Cal if he's watching. Cal's a Bowen, not a Bowen fan, but he's an advocate for Bowen, innit?
No, I hear that, but he also knows Paqueta's that guy we spoke about the other day.
Oh, you changed it.
Put it like this: if Paqueta had gone Man City instead of Mateus Nunes, I think we'd all be in a world of hurt.
Out of those three, I'm picking Paqueta as well.
Yeah,
Paqueta is, bruv. Did you see what it? Flicking the ball over. Let's not talk about
ball above it. Another guy we should have signed last summer, but we won't go into it, bro.
Yeah, but you talk about not this summer, last summer.
It should have been Paqueta last year and Szoboszlai this year. That's what it should have been, bro.
Yeah, you did speak about Paqueta still. You did. Star Days, I'm not having KDB will what? I'm not having KDB will eventually hurt them.
No, I think not having KDB will eventually hurt them.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I read that wrong. Sorry, Star Days. Yeah.
Yeah, it could start to take its toll on them a bit.
If there's one
team here's the thing that could haunt them about Kevin De Bruyne being out, because he's out until January, right?
But he's had like this same, it's either hamstring or calf, yeah. Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't even realize KDB was like 32, or 33.
Well, bro, I remember when everybody said I was just being salty when I said this season I think will start to be the decline of De Bruyne, because playing for Guardiola for that long and then getting to this age is eventually going to start to take its toll. And everybody was like, rare. And I didn't see the injury coming, and I feel bad for him. He's got the injury, but I did have a feeling that he would start to dip in form just based on just using logical sense. 33 years old, been ran into the ground by Guardiola, been unbelievable for so long. The consistency, and it's all going to catch up with you, innit? And maybe the injury is it catching up with him. Like, he's put his body through a lot in the last few years. So it's a major loss for them. And what I think it shows is that with him being out long term, now they've got to be very mindful of if anything happened to one or two others while he's out. I think that's always the issue when you've got an injury that's a long-term injury. Like when Van Dijk got the injury, we were all worried, but it was like, all right, all hands on deck though. Is everybody else all right? And then one by one, everybody else started to drop, and we knew Van Dijk wasn't coming back. It's like, oh shit, here we go. So if Man City ever had a scenario where, God forbid, Haaland got an injury and it was 2 months, and then Diaz got an injury and it was 2 months, and it's like, and they're already missing De Bruyne, then you start thinking, hang on a minute, just how strong is this City squad now when they've got to deal with these injuries? But again, hopefully that happens to them, as in I would never wish injury on anyone. But bro, it is what it is, man. I remember nobody gave us. That's why from now on, I'm never giving any sympathy to anybody when they got injuries. Because Chelsea have got hella injuries, and they've actually got a valid excuse for what's happening. 12 injuries to first team players.
Yeah, is a
shitload of injuries, bro. But no one gave us sympathy in 2021. And ever since then, I realized, all right, I'm going to keep the same energy. None of you lot gave a damn about us.
No, I hear that. No one cares.
Go,
no one cares. Why should we care? And it's one of them ones, isn't it?
Right.
So I fully hear you on that, fam. Trust me. Yeah, can't even complain. But listen, people, we're gonna end the show here. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Like I said before, people, we should have the preview tomorrow for the game against Leicester. And obviously, we'll have the match reaction on Wednesday for the game. If anything changes and we're able to do a watch along, we'll let you know. But we're working on things like that for the non-televised games. So stay tuned to that. And then obviously, you'll see us again for the rest of the week as well. You obviously got the game on Saturday as well. And stay tuned to the socials if anything else was to happen. But yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Smash that like button. Drift, you got anything you want to say before we take the people out, bro?
Nah, man. Just big up everyone, man. Smash this like button and we'll see you tomorrow, man.
Indeed, people. So listen, people, actually, hold on. There's one more super. That's just big up Star Asian. I believe on the flip side of being in Europa, it gives us a better chance to win the league. Bare minimum for success this season is top 4 and a cup double. I agree with that. Fully agree. We got to do the cup. Oh, and not only that, we got to like get top 4. Like the team's too good to not be top 4 in it. You know what I'm saying? Like if we don't get top 4, that is just an instant failure to not even get top 4. Like have to. And in fact, ain't it even top 5? Because a Man City won it. I swear it's top 5. I could be wrong though. I could have sworn it's top 5 this season. That's what a few people told me. But yeah, I'm expecting a cut double as well. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, now people, listen. Love for the love. And again, we will see you tomorrow, people. Take care.